Welcome to EchoSpeak English. Today, we're going to build your very first English sentences. You know, the kind you'd use when you meet someone new or just talk about what's happening around you. So, are you ready to get started? Let's do it. We know this is probably the biggest question on your mind right now. How do I actually build a real English sentence? Well, don't worry. In the next few minutes, we're going to show you exactly how. Let's just jump right in with a simple example. Listen to this. She reads a book. Okay, she reads a book. That sounds like a complete thought, doesn't it? Exactly. It expresses a whole complete idea. So, what does that mean, a sentence? Well, it's just a group of words that gives you a complete idea. It's not just some random words like book, reads, she. It has to actually make sense. Okay, so it's got to be a finished thought. I get it now. You got it. And to make that complete idea, every basic sentence needs a few essential parts. Think of them as building blocks. First, you need a subject. That's simply who or what is doing the action. Okay, the who. What's next on the list? After the subject comes the verb. That is the action. And then a lot of the time, you'll have an object. That's the thing that receives the action. All right, let's circle back to our first sentence and break it down. She reads a book. The subject is she. The verb, the action, is reads. And a book is the object because it's the thing that she reads. That makes sense. You've got it. Now, why don't you try saying it with us at home? She reads a book. Perfect. Okay, here's a new one. Tom eats an apple. This is another really good example. We're showing you this one because it follows the most common, most useful sentence pattern you'll find in English. And this right here is that main pattern. Subject plus verb plus object. We like to call it SVO for short. So in our example, Tom is the subject, eats is the verb, and an apple is the object. SVO. Yep, if you can remember this SVO pattern, you can honestly build thousands of English sentences. It's that powerful. But here's something interesting. Not every single sentence needs an object. Some are actually even simpler. You can have just a subject and a verb like birds fly. See? The action just stops right there with the verb. Wait, birds fly? That's it? That's a whole sentence? It is. Or you could have a subject, a verb, and something we call a complement, which just gives more information. For instance, she is happy. The word happy isn't an object. It's just describing her. Okay, let me try making one myself. I football play. You're so close. The idea is totally right, but in English, word order is super, super important. We would say, I play football. Subject, then verb, then object. Got it. I play football. Okay, so how would I make that negative? Would it be I not play football? Ooh, almost. For negatives, English uses a special little helper word. We say, I do not play football. Let me show you exactly how that works. Making a negative sentence is like following a simple recipe. First, you start with your subject, like I. Then you add that special helper verb, plus the word not, words like do not or is not. And finally, you just add the main verb, like play. So it all comes together as I do not play football. Pretty straightforward, right? Okay, so what about asking a question? Is there a recipe for that too? There absolutely is. And it's kind of like we just flip the first two ingredients. You start with the helper verb, like do or is. Then comes the subject, and then the main verb. So our sentence becomes, do you play football? Why don't you try repeating that one at home? Do you play football? Awesome. Okay, I think I'm starting to get the hang of this. Let's try another example. What does she do? She studies English carefully at home every day. Wow, okay, that is a lot of detail. Carefully, at home, every day. How in the world do you know what order to put all those extra words in? That is an absolutely fantastic question, and there's a really simple rule for it. When you add details like how, where, and when, they almost always go in this exact order. First manner, which is how, then place, where, and finally time, when. Just try to remember that. Manner, place, time. So let's see how this works with our example. The basic sentence is, she studies English. Simple enough. Now let's add our details using that rule. First, manner.
How does she study? Carefully. Perfect. Okay, next up is place. Where does she study? At home. And last but not least, time. When does she study? Every day. See? It follows the rule perfectly.
All right, your turn. Time for you to be the sentence builder. Have a look at these words on your screen. Plays, Sarah, piano, the. Go ahead and pause the explainer if you want, and try to put them in the correct order to make a sentence. Okay, did you figure it out? I think I did. Is it Sarah plays the piano? That is exactly right. We have our subject, Sarah, our verb, plays, and our object, the piano. Subject, verb, object. You totally nailed it. Great job. Let's try another one, but this time we're going to make a negative sentence. The words are not, he, is, ready. Again, feel free to pause and think about that special rule for negative sentences. And the answer is he is not ready. Perfect. Remember our rule? You start with the subject, he, add the helper verb and not, which is not, and then finish with the rest of the sentence, ready. Okay, last one, I promise. You're doing an amazing job. This time, let's try to ask a question with these words, do like what you. Remember that special word order we use for questions? You ready for the answer? I think so. Is it, what do you like? It is! The question word what comes first, then our helper do, then the subject you, and finally the verb like. Fantastic work. You are really getting this. So let's do a quick recap of the most important things to take away from today. First, a basic sentence needs a subject, a verb, and a lot of times an object. And second, I definitely learned that word order is really important in English. Oh yeah. Third, remember to use those special rules for making negative sentences and for asking questions. And finally, when you're adding all those extra details, just remember the order: manner, then place, then time. So now you have the basic tools, the building blocks, to create your own sentences in English. So the final question is for you watching at home. What sentence will you build first? Think about it for a second, and go on, try to say it out loud. You've taken a really big and important first step today. To keep learning with us, make sure you subscribe to EchoSpeak English for more lessons just like this one. Thanks so much for watching.